Hey, what's up, everyone? How's it going? My brother is a black screen. We got Amanda with us today from the Grand Rapids Chamber. Paul is, I think he is on a job site today, so he's the only one that can do the intro, so we're gonna have to skip it because no one is as good as he is. So, welcome to the Huddle. Thanks for joining us. Today we're going to be talking about how your local chamber can help you. So we got Amanda here. I'm going to have her introduce herself and just give a little background about you, and then we'll dive into it.
Love it. Thank you guys so much for having me. So, my name is Amanda Hench. I serve as the Director of Membership with the Grand Rapids Chamber of Commerce. I've been here since 2020, right? So, my background before coming to the chamber world was actually in the nonprofit sector. So, my passion, which has really led into my entire career, is all about community and community partnerships and really helping people build connections to accomplish their goals. And that really started in that nonprofit realm, right? So, working on some of those corporate relationships to fill and support nonprofits in our community. And then I moved over to the chamber in 2020 and started here because I wanted to do that on a larger scale. And you'll find that that's a really common thing with people in the chamber world is how can we make impacts in our community and help our businesses and our nonprofits and really just help things get to where they need to go, right? And help people accomplish those goals that they have.
Right, because the chamber a nonprofit as well, right?
It is. So the chamber is an interesting type of organization, and that might not understand and know a little bit about nonprofits. Most nonprofits that people are familiar with are 501c3s, and those c3s tend to be donation based organizations. So that's how they get all of their funding is you are donating to make sure that they can do what they have to do. The chamber is still a nonprofit, so we're a 501, but we're a c6, which is a membership based organization. So all of the work that we're doing in the community is fueled and funded by members who pay in to be part of our organization, and they help shape the work that we're doing and are really an active participant in how we can accomplish what we need to do and what our priorities are.
Right, and that's where we come in, right? Because we've been part of the chamber since I
Yeah.
believe 2018, so it's been a few
Yeah.
It's been that
years.
long? It's been that long already?
It
Holy
has been
smokes.
that long, yeah. You don't
Time
realize
flies.
it, but I mean, and
Holy smokes.
yeah, so when we first started getting involved with the chamber, I think it was actually who was it? I think it was
Was
Zach
it
Verhulst is
Omar?
the well, Zach Verhulst asked me one time. He was like, "Hey, have you?" And it was specifically about the minority contractors, right? And he was like, "Are you part of this?" And I was like, "No." And he was like, "Well, it's part of the chamber." And then we started looking into the chamber, and it's like, you know what? Let's just take a look at this to see how it can
Yep.
how we can take advantage of it, right? And see what it can and do for us. So when we went there, it wasn't Omar, it's when Dante was there, and
Yep.
that's who we had our initial meeting with, and we talk about it all the time because our first initial meeting, and it stuck out to us to this day, is when he told us, and he's like, it's all about networking and everything, right? And he
Mhm.
said, the saying, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And then
Mm-mm.
he said, that's old school. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. So how many people can you get in front of so that way you're always on the top of their mind? He said, that's what the chamber's all about. It's getting you in front of these people so that way, not only do you become, business associates with them and stuff like that, but a lot of the times you become friends with them and then end up hanging out, outside of work. So how can the chamber foster those relationships? And I mean,
I
over the years,
so
you guys
love that he
have
told you that because that is
It
like,
was
that
a
is
it
to
was
a
a
T what it is. It is
and you know
doing
what?
that.
It was a great experience from the day one, right? Because when Daniel brought it up to me and we collectively decided to go down there, we were at a crossroads. We were like, what can we do? What are we doing wrong? What can we do wrong? And I think that was when we actually realized and admitted to ourselves that we have no idea what we're doing. We need some help. We need information from someone who's been through it, or people who've been through it, and that's where everything just kind of fit right in, and everyone said the I don't want to say said the right things to sell it, right? But everything that we were hearing was right in line with what we needed.
Mm.
So, and that's what attracted us there, because we're the type of people that hang up on somebody. Who do you need? Oh, who you calling for? We're not interested. Click.
Hmm.
There was no click hanging up when we went there for the first time.
I love to hear that. That like that's why we're in it, right? It's truly I'm so glad that Dante shared that, and it's so cool to still have Dante as part of the work that we're doing here at the chamber, and we see him all the time. I'm sure you guys do too.
Yeah,
And
he's always somewhere,
he
and
is.
he's
I
he's
mean, he's
always
never.
advocating for you guys too. I mean, just because he's
Yeah.
not there doesn't mean that he's not advocating for you.
Yeah, and that's such like a cool part about, anybody who's involved with the chamber. It's like building a family of people and champions for this community. Truly. That is what we see. So when we talk about relationship building, and I'm so glad you brought that up, Daniel, because for me that's what is so important. And it's about building the relationships that will help us get to where we're going, because it's so much harder to do it on your own, right? If you're trying to figure it out on your own and you aren't the expert, it's going to take you 10 times longer to figure that out. And is that the best use of your time? Or can we go find somebody who can help you accomplish that goal and figure out the best solution or provide some insights? And it's all about those relationships, because those last longer than even just the one time that you talk to them, especially as you continue to build on that and see those people time and time again, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been, numerous events that I've gone to, and it's like someone from the chamber is always there. You guys are always welcoming, and then it's always like, "Oh, Daniel, I have this person over here that you have to meet." And it's like you guys know exactly who we should be talking to before
Yeah.
we do.
Yeah. And that's what we want to do, right? So, my team and what we are specialized in through membership, right? So, membership is there's a lot that goes into it, but truly the way that we approach it is it's really getting to know you and to understand who you are, what your business is, and what you need. Because we have over 2,800 members, 2,800. That's a lot of people. And they are all from different businesses, they're all from different industries, and they all don't need the same thing. So it's really about understanding what your specific needs are so we can do that. Because if we don't know you at all, we're not able to make those kind of suggestions and recommendations and make those introductions that you'll need. So that's why we have a team of 6 membership managers and myself. So there's 7 of us total that are strictly here to build relationships with you guys and understand what your business needs so we can help create that pathway to figuring out what you need to plug into, whether that's an event or, another department and team here at the chamber, or maybe it's somebody externally, right? So if you come to an event and I'm like, who you got to talk to, it's this person, and it's making that introduction. And we do that all the
Right.
time. That's what makes it so fun.
Yeah, I mean, Samuel was in here probably about a month ago now,
Yeah.
and we were just talking to him, and then he was like, "You know what? This sounds like you guys need a mentor from this area, and they work out of
Mm.
our building." And he set us right up. Like, uh, our mentor's coming in tomorrow, actually. So, I mean, without the chamber, that wouldn't have happened. I mean, it's just those kind of things that I wouldn't have known unless someone from the chamber just brought it up.
Yeah. I'm so glad that he did that. So that's one of the things that, we're trying to get back to as an organization, right? So coming out of the pandemic in 2020, 2021, we want to get back to going and visiting our members and seeing your business, right? So coming in, really getting to know you on that deeper level. And it's about meeting people where they're at, right? So not always having you guys come to us. Yes, we have this awesome office space that you can use, which we had your help, making even better, right? But with all of that, it's also how can we know more about your business, see what it looks like, reference that to other people when you're not around as well, and really getting to know you
Yeah.
guys.
And I think, like you said, we were a part of your guys' remodel, and we appreciate
Mm.
that a lot. I think that actually us having a relationship with you guys may have helped that quite a bit. I mean, it was, a bid job, and
Mhm.
I don't know, what other companies came in at, but the post bid was kind of tedious. I'll say that. But I mean, it ended up, we got the project and everyone was really happy. And now every event that, we show up to, Rick is sure to introduce us to someone and say they're the ones that did the flooring there. They're awesome to work with, and that it's just, it was a great time. We appreciate that you guys had us on that project.
That
Can you
makes me
guys hear
so
and see me
happy.
again? Can you guys
What
hear
was
me and
that?
see me again?
We sure can.
Gee, get a phone call from someone who actually watches almost every week. He knows what time I'm doing this, and my phone shut down. So anyway, I'm
Must have
back.
been Kendall.
It was Kendall. It was. Oh, and I want to add to what Daniel said just a second ago about
Yeah.
Rick, and we do have a lot of meetings there, and he does go out of his way to mention that. We try to be very humble, like thank you, like
Yeah.
but through introductions through some of the new groups that we're in and the new people, and just try to say hi and make a small introduction. But he always had to add that they did the floors here. It's like, thank you, I appreciate that.
Yep. And that's what we love to do. We're like our members' biggest cheerleaders. Truly, like that's the way to think about it. We are here to like support you, lift you up, make sure that people know about you. That's what we want to do and be that resource for you. We say it all the time and it sounds cliche, but we always say we're an extension of your team because we want you to think of us as part of your team. We are here to work for you and make sure that people know about you. And when it comes to this beautiful office space, I mean, we didn't do this by ourselves. There's no chance, right? We need to make sure that we recognize the people who went into making this such a beautiful space for our members. And to speak on Rick specifically, right? When I even interviewed here at the Chamber in 2019 before I started, I was so impressed with the fact that it's such a collaborative office space that when I came in on the work cafe level, on the entry level floor, Rick was just working downstairs right alongside all of our members. He is so approachable by everybody and wants people to be like that. And I'd never seen leaders who were that available to people. And that just truly like has been something that we see all the time is our leadership team that's working right alongside our members who wants them to come up and say hi. If we need private spaces, we totally can pop into those private spaces. But for the most part, we want to make sure that we're here. And if you guys are around, come say hi. We want to talk to you. And it's the perfect time to say hi.
That's a good place to get away when you just want to get out of the office too. Whole different setting. So I want to ask a couple of questions so to kind of enlighten some people that are out there. So not just the flooring industry listens to us, but we also have a lot of people who are just in general construction. We have a lot of friends and family who also follow and listen who are in different walks of life. Do you have to be a business owner to get involved with the chamber?
You do not have to be a business owner. So I'm so glad that you asked that because I'll tell you right now, some of the biggest things that I've been trying to make sure that our community is aware of is that chamber membership is for anybody and everybody, right? It is a membership for a business or an organization, but every single person that works at that company is a part of the chamber, is a member. You don't have to be an entrepreneur to be a member of the chamber. You can talk to your leadership teams and see if they can support that. We have some folks who have individual memberships here, right? So they're in the process of creating a business, or maybe they just want to be involved and they have like a private LLC or whatever the case might be. But it's truly membership is for everybody. The chamber is a place for everybody, every type of industry, every shape and size, every background. We want to make sure that it's accessible for everybody because everybody needs that support. And that's what we're here for. And if someone has a vested interest in like what's going on in our community and wants to be part of that work and making change here, this is a great way to do it because many voices and many hands make that message stronger. And like I said, everybody has something to put into that. And we are completely driven by our members and what our members' needs are. So we take what our members are saying very seriously and it helps shape what our priorities are.
And speaking of shaping, that's what happened with, I think I got on was it the Hispanic Business Council, became a part of that, which transformed into the Mosaic Collective, which is also opened up a lot of other doors and created other relationships for us as well. Next thing you know, I'm sitting in a room with Andy Johnston, and then he's got me talking to Mr. Tate from the House of Representatives. It's just like, it was kind of like a lot of things are going on where local government and getting very involved in understanding a lot more of the behind the scenes and what it takes for an economy to flourish. And I'm saying that because I use the chamber for learning experiences, right? I think although I know my voice is very dusty, but I think I'm getting that where people are actually starting to ask questions and listening to everyone's perspective, and I'm happy to be a part of some of that.
Yeah. I think honestly, that is the biggest thing, is making sure that we have the right voices at the table, that people are being represented and being heard. And we're being so intentional with our work to make sure that, we are representing our community correctly, and we're thinking about what that is. And building these spaces where people can be their authentic selves is a huge part of that. And it's making sure that we have those spaces, and it's helping shape the work that we're doing and making the right moves to make West Michigan a better place for all, right? So our mission statement is to create a thriving and prosperous West Michigan for all. And we take that very seriously. It shapes everything. And when we say for all, we mean for all. We want to make sure that everyone feels like they have a place here.
Yeah, you guys are great partners. Like you said, you're an extension of us, right? And I think anytime that we've had a question, we were able to reach out to you guys. And if you guys don't have the answers, it's always like, you know what, I can't help you with that, but I know someone that does. So let me reach out to them. And
Mhm.
I mean, my brother, like, this guy comes up with some ridiculous questions sometimes. So I hats off to you guys for being able to to answer whatever he comes up with.
Yeah.
We
Sorry,
always
guys.
joke and
Sorry,
say
I
if we
do
can't
have a lot
have an
of.
answer, maybe someone else can. And even sometimes if we do have the answer, maybe it might not be the answer you want. We might be able to get you the right answer that you're looking for, but we'll get you an answer one way or the other.
Right. And speaking of partnerships, I am going to play this quick video from our partner, Floor Cloud.
Cloud enables real-time monitoring of your job site conditions via desktop or mobile device. No more manual checking for temperature, humidity, or even dew point. No need for base stations, Wi-Fi, or external power sources. Simply scan the QR code on the front of your sensors and you're up and running with the most accurate and innovative site monitoring system in the flooring industry. Dispatch your crews with confidence and reduce your climate-related installation issues. Floor Cloud, now you know.
So that's one business that we partner with, that they're doing great things for not just the flooring industry, but the construction industry in general. So you got to give a shout out to them all the time, because we run into way too many situations where the site's just not ready, and they're just on top of their game when making the information available to everyone.
And that's huge.
Just to
I
forewarn
honestly,
you
like, it
guys, I'm
goes
on the
back
move again.
to, you touched on, the educational side of things. And I think that's been a huge piece for us as well. And truly, when I think about how we do our programs, and for anybody who doesn't know, the Grand Rapids Chamber, we have over 160 days of programs and events. And that's a lot. And we're really intentional about what are those events and how are we supporting people. Some of them are network building, right? So like we touched on the importance of like getting to know people. But the other key component that we really want to focus on, and it falls within our economic growth pillar, is truly helping business owners and leaders and anybody who's looking for access to education tap into some experts within very specific fields. So we've been hosting a variety of workshops throughout the year that are all around business growth, right? So we just did one a while back on marketing. We've had some on human resources, on a small business budget. We've done some on AI. We have more coming up even sooner, touching on things like access to capital. So how, if you're looking for funding for your business and looking to grow your business, what does that look like? And we bring in some of those speakers to share on that. And it's not always us, right? So we have experts on our team here, but we know that there are folks in this community that have great tools and great resources. And we want to give them that platform so that way business owners and leaders and folks in the community who are looking for that know that they can come here and get access to that kind of information.
Yeah, I mean, we were looking at your calendar earlier, and it's like, man, the amount of things that you guys have going on is crazy sometimes, and I don't understand how you keep up with it. But I mean, that's what you guys have that team for, right?
Oh, yeah. If we didn't have that team, I don't know how we do it. Like this morning, we started off the day, or at least I can speak for myself. We had our Athena Leadership Forum, which is a forum where we gathered together, speakers on topics that are around supporting, uplifting women and business leaders in our community specifically. And that went, right until around 11:30. And at that same time, we had a recognition celebration for some of our leading investors here at the chamber. So half of our staff was there, half of our staff was at this Athena forum with over 200 attendees. And, there are days we have 2-3 programs all in the same day, but we want to make sure that we're providing that content to people and we make that a priority and make sure that we're thinking about what they might need and what time of day works well for them. There's a lot of planning that goes into that.
Right, because next week you guys got the CEO summit, and
That's a big
that one
one. Are
looks
you
like
guys
it's
coming
going
to
to be
that?
a. I'm trying to get this. Okay, he's giving the thumbs up because I just asked him earlier because I can't be
Love
there
it.
because I have a meeting like right in the middle of it. Like I was like I
Yeah.
really want to go to this, but I
Yeah.
Excuse me.
also would really like this project. So kind of got to pick and choose sometimes, right? But
Oh, yeah.
again, that's where having a team is really beneficial because I'll be over here, he can go over there, and we can still have our presence at both of the spots. But
Divide and conquer,
speaking of
right? That's
Zach
the way to do it.
Verhulst, I know that he's one of the speakers there. That's I was really trying to be there to support him, but hey, someone to be there.
And I want to bring this up too because I'm going to try to ask the questions as if I don't know anything. So just to forewarn you, um, not every chamber is as effective as the other. So I think that we are a little bit spoiled with what you guys have and what the Grand Rapids Chamber offers.
Yeah.
Are there any set amount or set expectations that anyone should have from their chamber? And if so, what should they be? What might they be?
Yeah, that's such a great question. What expectations should you have from your chamber? Truly, when I think about that, your chamber should be there to listen to you and to learn what your needs are. That's like at its core how we can best be effective for our members. Because again, it goes back to not every business needs the same thing. And we can't do cookie cutter solutions because that's not going to get anybody what they're looking for and help them. So I say to everybody, if you have not gone to meet with somebody at a chamber or your local chamber or our chamber, for example, the Grand Rapids Chamber, that is your first step is setting up that meeting to understand what their offerings are. If you're not located in, Michigan, for example, or if you are in this area, come in to really get to know us and understand what benefits are out there because there's a lot within that space. And then also vice versa, letting us get to know you. So it can be hard as a business owner or as a business leader to come in and be really transparent about I'm struggling and this is what I'm struggling with right now. But if we don't know what's going on, the good and the bad, we can't make the best recommendations to help you. And we really need to know and understand what that is. So it's that first initial, make sure that you have that conversation and really get to know those folks and let them get to know you. And then once that's done, you got to stick around, right? So building relationships takes time. It's being consistent with showing up in those spaces, reaching out to them if you need anything, answering phone calls if we call you, and then also coming to some of those events. It's that variety of the connections that you're building.
There's a lot of them too.
Yeah,
So, and it could be a little bit overwhelming as well. If I guess if you're an introvert trying to put yourself out there, it may be a little overwhelming. It does get easier. It's one of those muscles that you gotta
I
work those
think that's
muscles
what
out.
makes it easier though is the chamber team, right? Because I'm like every time you walk in there, they're like, you need to meet this person. It's like that icebreaker between
Mhm.
everyone, and because I'm I'm an introvert. People say I'm not, and like in high school, I was voted most outgoing, but really, I don't really like to talk to people all that much. But I guess people like to talk to me, so it makes it easier, I think. And I can hold a conversation, but having that person there that's just like, hey, you got to talk to this person. And
Yeah.
then it just goes in a chain, right? Like, because you meet this person, it's like, oh, you know what? I just talked to you for a little bit. You need to meet this other person. And
Yeah.
that networking events like that, like you guys do the business exchange luncheon
Yeah.
pretty frequently. And
Every month. That's it, every month. The only month we don't do that one is January. But like, I'm so glad you bring that up, because truly what I find, I see a lot, and our staff is like very sensitive to this. And when I say sensitive, it's like a good sensitivity. If we're in a room and we see somebody that's standing by themselves and doesn't look very comfortable, we are going to make sure that they have someone that they can talk to, and we're going to go chat with them and make sure that they feel comfortable and feel welcome, because the last thing that we want is for someone to come and feel like they don't belong. That is like number one, like absolutely not. We're not going to let that happen. We want to make sure that you feel comfortable. Now, we do like the hump day happy hours also, right? That's monthly at the chamber,
oh
the last
yeah,
Wednesday of the month. And that's a little bit more casual, but we have folks who come to that and they don't want to network. They do come just to have a beer and a sandwich from Nonla Burger, who's our food sponsor, and then a beer from New Holland, right? But they might want to talk to like one or two people, or bring a client and a customer to have like a meeting during a happy hour there. And that's totally good. But if someone looks like they're
Never even
trying to
thought
figure
about
out,
it like
how do I
that.
break in, we're going to go make them feel comfortable.
right. And I think we took a page out of your guys' book from you guys doing that too. So when we go to conventions and stuff, we'll see someone sitting at a table, at lunch, sitting by themselves, and it's like, nope, that's where I'm going to sit, because no one, you're already in an uncomfortable situation, and it's easier for me to go over there and be a little
Yeah.
uncomfortable when I know how uncomfortable they are not knowing anyone there.
Yeah, 100%. And it kind of goes back to, like you mentioned, you're an introvert, but people love talking to you. I think people that are perceived as being introverts, but perceived, excuse me, as being extroverted, but are actually introverts, I think it's because you prefer the deep relationship conversation. You're not like about the surface level, right? And that's what we find. And the biggest thing for folks who feel uncomfortable with surface level networking and getting to know people is just getting that bridge gapped, right? So making sure that we can really make sure to make those connections so you can build that relationship. And then by the time you know it, I mean, you guys touched on this at the very top of the recording, right? But like, when you come in and you are going to chamber events often, it becomes like you're seeing your friends. You're like running into people that you've met so many times. It turns into, oh, I'm going to give this person a hug. I know them. Let's catch up. And then they can introduce you to somebody else. And it's building those deep relationships that turn into friendships in the long run, which is so fun. It's like my favorite.
And
Yeah.
also the connections that are made too. Like, I
Yeah.
just had R&R Mechanical come to my house and do some work, right? I probably never would have heard of them if it wasn't for the chamber, to be honest with you. And I've known about Ruben and them for a few years now, and this is the first time I've actually had a need outside of what I could do myself or had time to do. But it's just connections like that are worth their weight in gold, because
That just goes back to, it's not, who it's who knows you, right? And you knew
right,
them,
yeah,
so they were in there.
and
Yeah.
it's more of a personalized relationship as well, right? You're not just calling a company because of what they offer. You're calling a company because you know who they are, what they do, what they stand for. I understood
Yeah.
their values, and it was a no-brainer for me.
Mm-hmm.
And we've mentioned your guys's office a few times. Can you kind of give us a rundown of what you guys offer at your location for all your members?
Yeah, yeah. No, I'm so glad you bring up the office space, because again, I mean, it's a shock to a lot of people, and I think that's why we're so used to having people come here to meet, because they don't expect this office space to exist for them. But we've been here for, I want to say it's a little over 6 years now, and they moved into this space before I started here. So I've been here for about that 4.5 year timeline, right? But they moved from a more traditional Chamber of Commerce, office building. And I think a lot of people, when they hear the organization title of like Chamber of Commerce, they've been around for hundreds of years, right? So they're very old organizations. A lot of times we have these like perceived knowledge of what we think it'll be and what it looks like. And a lot of times when people think Chamber of Commerce, they think like old office space, almost like an attorney's office, a lot of like dark paneled wood, that kind of environment. And it's like closed off and it's mainly for the staff. When we moved into this space over 6 years ago, we decided to completely flip that around, because as an organization that's about building partnerships and that wants to be and aims to be the hub of what's going on in West Michigan, we needed our office space to reflect that. So because of that, we made this office space that we are now currently in into a collaborative co-working space for our members. And it started out as mainly having a couple small meeting rooms that were available for members to use. And then our work cafe space, which is a lot more open, think like coffee shop, but business professional atmosphere. And then last year, so last January of 23, we decided to expand that because we needed more space. We ran out of space because we really leaned into what our members' needs were. And we were hearing from members, coming out of the pandemic, that they needed more working space. They were downsizing their offices. They had remote workers who were looking for a place to land and host meetings. And we needed to fill that gap for them. And because of that, we did a giant expansion and added on, I want to say about 9 additional conference rooms. And now we have meeting rooms that seat anywhere from one person desk space where you can come and plug in your computer to a monitor and have an external monitor and a keyboard, to, our 2 to 3 person spaces, or small meeting rooms that seat up to 9, boardrooms that seat up to 15. We've got a handful of those. And then we also have our conference center space that seats up to 120, and coffee that's available and things like that. That's all going to be key as well.
Yeah, we got you breaking up a little bit, but I think we got the gist. You guys have a huge space, right? The conference rooms is where I think anytime we go is where we spend a majority of our time, because it's always for events. And every time we're there, you guys are constantly like, you guys know you can come work over here anytime you want. And then when Samuel came here, he seen the setup, and it's like the programs that we use. It's just like, I have 2 32-inch monitors plus my computer, so it's like to get rid of this for a day is kind of hard. But I absolutely
Totally. And I think there are some people that it doesn't work for them to go work remote. But then others, it works well. So, I mean, it's good to hear that you guys have such a great setup. I'm going to have to come by. I don't think I've seen your space.
it's very small and homey, but it gets the job done for the most part.
Yep.
We like it.
It works.
Yeah,
It works for
I
us.
think what you were saying, like, throughout the pandemic, a lot of people were getting rid of office space, and I think you guys
Yeah.
expanding and opening up, more space for that was huge, because I think after that, people were like, you can work from home and be fine, right? But there's still people out there that are like, yeah, I like working from home, but I still need other people around me. Like, they thrive on
Yeah.
having that other people around them. So to go there and while we were working there and just going there through the meetings and stuff, you see quite a few people there working, and it's awesome. It's a great space, and we probably should make it a point to go down there. And like, if you are like, say, like when we started, all we had was like a 10 by 10 office, right? When we started with you guys, and we had, I think at that time, like 3 desks in there and no space at all.
It was pretty small.
Yeah, and like for us to rent a room to have meetings in would have been huge.
And that's kind of like the big thing. It's, honestly, having just like a quiet space to get away, and especially for people who work from home. I can't do that. Like, I'm not a big work from home person. It's too distracting for me, and I get energy from working around people. But working at a coffee shop is sometimes not the most consistent, right? It can be hard to find seating. You have to constantly pay for more coffee, right? Whereas we have coffee brewed fresh all day by Ferris Coffee. So they're our coffee sponsor here at the Chamber. And then we have Gordon Water Systems filtered water, which is really nice. And truly for us, it's about creating an environment where people can come in and feel comfortable for the day. And you don't like have to check in and out. You come in once and you can hang out all day. And if you need a room, we'll help you find a room and make sure that you feel comfortable. But the other big thing is we see a lot of people build relationships just from being in the same space, because you see the same people over and over again within that same space. You get up and get coffee at the same time. You chat with somebody else that person might know. And it goes back to just being in the same space helps you build that relationship and get some of that visibility, which is really cool.
Yeah. And did you touch on your guys' the studio that you're in now?
I didn't. So, and I apologize that I broke up. I have no idea why that happened. But, one of the things that we added on when we did our expansion was we created a studio room that has some sound dampening on the walls because, people like me, I'm pretty loud, so people can hear me regardless. So I've got this nice little wall behind me that helps keep the sound more insulated in this room. And then, yeah, you too. Yeah, everyone can hear me all the time. And then we also have some really great recording equipment that's available for our members. So right now it's all stowed away because it's much more high tech and out of my league. I'm not the expert, but our marketing team works with our members. So if a member needs to come in and, record a podcast, for example, or record, an audio book, we've had people do that, or commercials, that's happened before, or do very formal interviews and like voiceover work. We've had people come in and do that. And it's trying to fill that gap, but making it in a way that it's comfortable for people. They have, some of those comforts like coffee and tea and all of that, as well as the spaces that they need that will be supportive for them.
And a whole bunch of amazing people.
We try. We really try. And I think a lot of people don't even know what the different teams are here at the Chamber, right? Because we have so many people here. We have over 30 staff and we're growing. So we had some new folks that you all see the official announcement of here soon out on social media. So if you guys aren't following our social medias, we definitely recommend that to make sure that you stay up to date on what's going on at the Chamber. But with our different teams, I touched on the economic growth piece, right? So that's our team that's really working with businesses to figure out what resources they specifically need and doing a lot of that resource building. But we also have a team that's dedicated to advocacy and public policy. So they're doing a lot when it comes to government and policy initiatives that are going on in our town, in our city, and in our region even, to make sure that our members' voices are heard when laws are getting passed or being evaluated. And then we also have a team that's dedicated to talent development and leadership development growth. So building strong leaders for this community and making sure that we're building community while we do that. And then the other piece of that pie is also diversity, equity, and inclusion work. So making sure that we're building an inclusive environment and inclusive leaders in workplaces, and really working with people on all of those fronts to make sure that we have well-rounded businesses and a well-rounded community that is a place for resource development and support, and just developing those relationships, which is just like the joy of our work, truly.
Yeah, I think that's one of the big things that drew us in was the DEI that you guys had, and the West Michigan Minority Contractors is what piqued our interest, and it's actually gained us quite a bit of not just work but relationships with the people. So it's huge to get out there and put yourself out there and become part of the Chamber to just see what they have to offer, right?
Mm-hmm. It's a lot. And I know that first step is always a lot.
And the groups that are available, last year or 2 years ago, I was part of a sales group because I wanted to learn. I don't know if I really had a place in there to give information, but I was part of a group and I absorbed a lot of information. Now I'm on my second term with the CEO group, which, I always feel like I'm learning more than I contribute, right? Like they have a lot more to offer than what I can contribute, which I think everybody feels like that at some point, but just those type of groups that are available to be a part of is worth its weight in gold. I've learned so much already just listening. I like to listen. I like to learn. I take a lot of notes. Not today though. I'm not taking notes today though.
Not while you're driving and doing that. That'd be way too much, right?
Yeah. I probably shouldn't be driving and doing this either,
Right.
but I'm doing my best to not stay here.
You're
So,
committed. We
so
appreciate
Chad
it.
asks, can someone who lives outside of Grand Rapids join the chamber or come attend events?
Yeah, so I was just going to address that for sure. So, I think a lot of people hear our name as the Grand Rapids Chamber, and they think that that means that you have to be part of the city of Grand Rapids in order to be part of our chamber. So I mentioned this earlier, but we have over 2,800 members, and that's unique businesses, right, that are members of the chamber. It's a business-based membership or a nonprofit, for example. Anybody can be part of the chamber. Truly, we're a regional based chamber. So we have a lot of members who are actually out on the lakeshore over in like the Muskegon, Grand Haven area. We have members that are on the east side of the state. We have members that are up on Mackinac, and we have members that have locations outside of the state of Michigan. So anybody is able to be part of this. We do have some virtual events that people can attend. But for the most part, it's about, do you have a vested interest in what's going on in West Michigan and in Grand Rapids, and really want to make sure that you're part of the community building and the growth of our city? And do you have clients and customers even that are here, right? So if you have clients that are here, and that's a great example as to why we have some hotels that are up on Mackinac. They don't have locations here, but their clients are coming from here. So, if you have clients that are here, making sure that you're present here and you're sending your business development folks to some key events, or even just doing some advertising with us, or even just having your members on our business directory. Being on the directory is a great way for people to get to know your business, and it's passive marketing. It's just being there. So if someone comes to our website and searches flooring, for example, you guys are going to pop up because you're on the directory. You've got those keywords that are going to help with your SEO, so your search engine optimization. And we make sure when we're meeting with our members to go, what do you think people would be searching? And you want to make sure that you pop up if they're searching that. So what are your lines of business? What services do you offer? What are the things that make you unique? And that helps us make sure that you're getting some of that visibility here and you're involved. And then again, meeting with somebody on our team helps curate what your pathway is. So I mentioned we have 160 days of programs and events. That doesn't mean you have to go to all 160. That's way too much. We want to narrow
That's
it
impossible.
down. It is impossible. I don't even go to 160 days of programs. There's no chance. But we want to figure out like what are the 2 to 5, I'd say at very most, things that you and your business should be tapped into. And Jose, you mentioned this earlier, of my favorite. Those roundtables, it's building those deep relationships. And that's one that I recommend for just about anybody, because it's small group discussions with people that are outside of your industry. And it's, really asking them, how would you approach this challenge that I'm facing? Or I'm trying to accomplish this. What have you done that's worked well? And it gets you out of your industry's like siloed train of thought, which is really cool.
And it's great to get outside perspective.
Yeah, for sure. It's one of my
not.
favorites.
No, it's amazing that you guys like I said, like when we started, we were very small, just to have that meeting room to bring clients to and not have to worry about it, right? It's
I've
crazy
had
the
stories of
amount of things you guys offer.
Yeah. I've had stories of people who, like attorneys who've done like mediation between two different people, for example. So they have 2 meeting rooms booked and they're going back and forth between the 2 rooms to work on things. And I've had, stories of, we have some like consultants, for example, who they set up shop and they're here all day. This is their office space and they're just here and they're connecting with our teams and they know us really well. And again, I think it's the more that you are around, the more that you're going to get to know your chamber. And it's figuring out, if you don't know anything about the chamber, most chambers do this. I know that we do this, and we talked about this offline, but we have a Chamber 101 coming up here on the 26th, where we're going to be doing a deep dive information about all things chamber. So if you don't know anything and you're like, where do I even start? That is where I always point someone in that direction, because it's a great way to understand member benefits, our different offerings, what are some of those events, get to know other people. We generally see over 100 people attend that. So it's really great networking as well as information. And it's so fitting that today this is your 101 episode and it's Chamber 101. That's what we do. So this is like, it's like a mini Chamber 101 right now.
I mean, yeah, I mean, that's gives a huge deep dive into what you guys, I've attended one before, and I've tried to get some of the, like, my sister and stuff to go see what you guys have going on. And it's like you said, sometimes, it's hard to attend things, so things come up. But I mean, it's great information. And that's where I think I really learned about, like, the other programs that you guys offer, like, um, what was it? The Davenport, for example. You guys have a
Yeah.
discount at Davenport for members, like 20% off, I believe, right?
Yeah, for all new students. And like the amount of people who don't know about that, I'm like, everybody should know this because it's not just for the employees of the business, it's for their dependents. So if you have kids that are about
Oh
to go
yeah.
off to college, like that is use that 20% off because that's huge. And like your spouse, even, and that works for professional development. So if you want to go back and get some certification on like project management at their Institute for Professional Excellence, you can get 25% or 20% off, excuse me, if you're a first-time student with them, which is huge.
And is that for every single one of our employees too, then, right?
Every single employee and their dependents. So we actually have some members who put that in their employee benefits package when they're hiring somebody. They're like, hey, listen, you work for us, you're a chamber member, you get this discount and you can do all this other stuff as
Right. And
well.
like before
And I
we
think that's
started,
such a great way, truly. What are those benefits?
yeah, I think before we started, we talked kind of about a lot of people are like, what is the chamber going to do for me? What benefits am I going to get right away and stuff? And it's kind of like
Yeah.
we attend a lot of events in the flooring industry, and we always tell people the same thing. They're like, earn certifications and stuff, and they're always like, well, how is that going to benefit me? But it's like, what are you going to do in order to make it benefit you, right? So like you said,
Mm-hmm.
putting it in your benefits package, yeah, it's technically like a pass through thing, but it's still something that you can put on your stuff to make it more enticing for someone to join.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
think right now, especially with hiring people, right? Like I talk to so many businesses who are hiring, and a lot of people look at employers and jobs for businesses that they know. And it's how are you getting your company out there so people are like, oh, I know that company. I want to work for them. So it's building that brand and that reputation in a way. And really piggybacking on like what we have to offer here at the chamber. So one of the other things that I feel like a lot of people don't know we have a job board. So if you're hiring, you can put your open positions on the job board so people can get to know what those positions are and, apply right through there. It connects right to whatever platform you're using. And it's just a great tool to continue to boost those openings for you.
yeah, I mean, whatever you can do in order to entice people to join the team, because it's tough out there right now.
It is.
Is there anything else that you wanted to touch on that you guys offer that we haven't talked about yet?
Oh man, I mean, there's so much. Truly, if I could say anything to anybody that's like, what do I do? Where do I start? Like I said, it's reaching out to us directly. You'll find all of our contact information right on our website, and our easiest website ever. It's literally grandrapids.org. That is our website, and you'll see all of our programs and events on there. If you're not getting our newsletters, subscribe to those. Go to our social media channels. Right, that's a great way to stay up to date on like what's going on. And you come to Chamber 101. Come to a happy hour that we host monthly. That's just a great way to get to know people. And we're truly here for everyone. And that's one of the
I
stigmas
mean,
that I'm trying to break down is, we're not a chamber for small business and we're not a chamber for large business. We're truly a chamber of commerce for all. And that's how chambers should be. And we want to continue to be that place.
no, absolutely, we love it. And I mean, people can't say no to free food and drinks, right?
It's true. It's hard to say no when you have burgers and beer that are like right there and ready for you.
Right. And I did pull this up. I wanted to put it. This is your guys's entrance right there, the little work cafe. This is
Yep.
where you
Yep.
guys host a lot of the events and stuff right in here.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a great working space, so I just wanted to show people exactly what they'd be getting into. I think it's definitely worth checking out, and we appreciate everything you guys do.
Oh, well, thank you so much. Truly, like I said, I think the secret sauce to what we do at the chamber, it's not just our staff, but it's our members, right? Like we have such an amazing community here in West Michigan and such amazing businesses just like you guys. And if we're not doing it together, it's so much harder. So like I want to really focus on how can we create these partnerships and relationships to get to where we need to be, and really just having more people at the table is better for everybody.
Absolutely. So I think we've covered a lot of stuff today.
Yeah.
You guys
Yeah.
do
And if
offer a lot of stuff. So
we do.
um, if anyone needs to reach out to anyone, like she said, just go over to grandrapids.org, and
Yeah.
I believe I have it pulled up right here. You guys can go on there and you can pull up the entire team, right? And
The
email people
entire team.
individually if you wanted to.
Yep. And our emails are so easy. So if anybody that's on has questions, you guys are so welcome to contact me directly. My email is literally just amanda@grandrapids.org. Easiest email. My phone number is also on the website. So phone, you can call, you can email, you can reach out to any of our team. We're truly here for the community. So no question is a bad question.
Well, we appreciate you joining us today, and if there's anything else that we can help the chamber out with, definitely let us know. And you guys have done so much for us already, so we definitely appreciate you guys, and we look forward to going to all your guys' amazing events and keep the relationships going.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. This has been amazing.
Oh, look, he's back now.
Just for the time for the ending.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
No, I heard most of it. I heard most of it. So we got a baseball
And,
game today, so I muted myself while I was at the office grabbing a couple things, so I didn't interfere with Daniel's feed.
here's the website, just so everyone can see.
Yeah.
You guys just redid the website too, right?
We did. Last year was a big year for us. We got a new website, had a bunch of new folks, expanded our team, redid the office space, and we're just constantly growing. So if there's anything I can also say, we're going to be consistently growing and changing. So everything we're doing, we're trying to be innovative and think about what our community needs, and we're always going to switch it up.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I appreciate it, and we'll see you. I mean, are you going to be there on Tuesday at the CEO?
I will. I'll see you guys at the CEO
All
Summit,
right.
and I'll see
Yeah,
you
we'll see
at
that
Happy
guy.
Hour and all the events.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for joining, and thanks everyone. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and if you don't like it, let us know too, and still subscribe so that way you can
Yeah,
keep
if you don't like
giving
it,
us a thumb
thumbs
down.
down.
Let us know what we can do better. So appreciate it, and we'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everyone.